All right, let's talk weather here. It is Sunday, August 10th. We've had a cool start to the month. We all know how hot August can be, so 80s, I think we'll take it. We'll have rain chances kind of increasing the next couple of days. And by the weekend, we're probably looking back to closer to seasonal temperatures in the 90s, but really nothing crazy of note outside of the cooler temperatures. Average high so far this month has been about 85, 86. The average high normally is about 91. This time last year, we were in the midst of very hot temperatures. This is a look at our highs from today. 88 at Birmingham, 87 in Sylacauga. You're going to notice a trend the next couple of days. The eastern side of the state's going to be cooler. Western side of the state's warmer. When we have these wedging scenarios and an easterly wind, it typically favors areas closer to Georgia and the Appalachians. So look for that to continue here. Cloud cover really helps, but we didn't have much in the way of rainfall. In fact, the rain stayed to the east over parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, but pretty quiet as we head into the evening all across Alabama. Really nothing to talk about with respect to rain. Those temperatures at 7 o'clock falling to lower 80s. I have to say, the mornings have been kind of nice, bit of a cool aspect to the air. I got up early a couple times to exercise, and 70 degrees versus 77 degrees in the morning is noticeable. The air's not nearly as oppressive, and that's likely where we're headed overnight tonight. All right, rain chances, again, for Monday are still pretty low across northwest Alabama, gradually increasing as you head to the south and east, with the highest potential across the state in the Wiregrass, Houston, Henry, Geneva, Dale, Coffee counties, even down towards Mobile and along the coastline, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Dolphin Island, etc. But our rain chance is going to be picking up statewide by Tuesday. And again, east of I-65 is probably our best bet. Going to be a little bit closer to that moisture feed, and that will likely lead to better coverage. But I do think Tuesday and Wednesday we will see probably our best coverage of the week across the state. And our 7-day rain chances are nothing too crazy. This is average over the next 7-day period. And again, the highest spots, anomalous, about 2 inches for all of Blount County. So obviously WPC picking up on something there. But again, everywhere has a potential of seeing at least a little bit of rain here over the next 7 days. Pretty typical for this time of year. Let's do temperatures Wednesday onward. This is at 3 o'clock. Again, rain-cooled air mass could very well keep our temperatures in the upper 70s at times. If you don't get the rain, mid to upper 80s. If you get the rain, we'll probably be in the 70s. That'll be pretty common. As we head into Thursday afternoon, again, you'll notice warmer to the west, cooler to the east. Also coincides with our better rain chances, better rain coverage. And then by Friday, we start to warm back up. European model, which is what you're looking at, is a bit more conservative with highs, but I think beginning Friday and into the weekend, we'll have temperatures back in the low 90s. So warm weather fans, it's coming. I'd put these Saturday afternoon temperatures anywhere from 88 to about 92. Warmest temperatures across the southern half of the state, south of US 84. And the 8 to 14 day outlook through nearly the last week in August. Nothing really to see here. Again, big ridge over the Rockies, above average temperatures. For us, though, this is leaning slightly above. I expect this to be pretty seasonal. There's no major heat wave expected. No signs point towards anything like that. So that's always good. Again, August can be very hot. All right, August is typically a time of the year where we see tropical activity increased. We got 2 Invest, and 96 we can probably take off the board. Invest 97, that is the one that we will be watching because this will likely be our next named storm. In fact, the NHC in their 7-day outlook has a 90% chance. This is going to form. This will be a named storm. Here's the good news. With respect to the track, this will likely stay well away from land. The northern part of the Lesser Antilles is probably going to be most likely to see any impacts from this. But again, this is trending further north, and that is certainly a good thing. So this is the 7-day spaghetti plot outlook, and this takes it, again, several hundred miles to the north and east of the Caribbean, those islands there, and that's great to see. We'll have fish storms all day, totally fine, and we can marvel this from a distance. So we're going to go a little bit deeper here, and I want to go into sea level pressures. This is a look at the European sea level pressures, and what you're going to see is high pressure is blue, so that's where your air aloft is sinking. Think of pressure being exerted on the surface, high pressure, that's the blues. Where you see the lighter blues and then eventually the reds, that's low pressure. Low pressure, if we're not pushing down on the surface, that means air must be evacuated up into the atmosphere. So that leads to low pressure. And we're likely going to have that here as we move forward. Obviously, this is a great detector of possible intensification. So I got the low plotted there. By this point, it's probably a hurricane or tropical storm. This is Friday at about 4 o'clock. Again, the European model. I'm going to get rid of this low here and show you kind of what we're looking at here. In fact, this actually grabbed a new model run. So we're going to go in here and fix this so that we can have the data that I wanted in there. So just a second. And again, we're probably going to see here a marginal change in all this stuff with respect to the intensity and the track. I mean, you don't know until the time has come, and this gets much closer. So these are all the runs here. Notice the different placement. Those are 3 different runs, all ending at the same time and all kind of over the map. This one at about noon on Monday has a center low pressure of 959 millibars. It's pretty decent as far as sea level pressure goes. Pretty low, pretty solid, likely a hurricane or tropical storm. So again, this will be something to watch, but notice the distance from land. That's the big thing here. Get out my little measuring here, and just from these islands here, the Bahamas, you're 500 miles away, so you have rough surf, and that's about it. If the European is right in this, again, I'm going to grab the latest model, so that's 1 run. Let's go to another run, same time. Again, notice the placement difference, and here's another and another. So all over the map, but the same general area, and that gives us a good idea that, hey, this is moving away likely from land. Let's do it again, but let's do it with the GFS. I love looking at this stuff. Again, same deal. By midweek, it's a low, probably a depression, moving through the central Atlantic, and that starts to intensify as it passes to the north of, again, the Lesser Antilles. And you can see that low pressure bullseye there as we get closer to the weekend. And this one, look at the difference here. So I'm going to go to different model runs with this one as well. So there's a 0Z run, 6Z. Let's go to 12Z, and that one's got it depicted 974 millibars, and you see how over the map it is. But again, the big thing is this is well away from the coast, and certainly no threat to the Gulf of Mexico, so that's good. Let's talk about some of the steering here. This is a look at the upper level pattern. You're going to be able to see here where that storm is being depicted. So we'll keep it wide. And you could probably see, if I circle this, where that would be your tropical system right there. We're going to zoom in. You're going to see height falls with this. When we talk about height falls, that means a very sharp drop in height levels over a short period of time. And that means there's a pretty good low pressure there. Remember, high pressure versus low pressure, you're going to see a big difference in height values associated with that. So there you have it. That's a Saturday, and then we move ahead. Again, the core of this, that's St. George over there. That is Bermuda, and this could be a threat to Bermuda. If it's going to be a threat to land, that is probably our best bet here moving forward. But again, a lot of things are going to change: intensity, track, yada yada. But the one thing I'm pretty certain of is this is trending away from land. So let's look at another product here. This is the probability of tropical storm winds. Gets up to about 70% there, 80%. And a low end chance of it being a hurricane, but I do think this will end up being a hurricane, and this is through Wednesday. You can see the loop of that. And this just looks at the probabilistic outlook for those tropical storm force winds. And again, the winds staying well away from any land. So that's the big thing with this. So, one final note here, and then we can hop off for this evening. Tropical activity, we are still a ways away from the mountaintop. We are here a month from now, exactly a month from now, September 10th. We're right about at the peak. So the next month, we'll keep an eye out on the tropics for potential development. And, of course, as always, we'll monitor things and keep you hype-free with respect to the forecast. I just came from the beach. can verify the water's warm, but not overly warm. I can also verify that if it says stormy on your app, it's not going to rain all day. You'll have periodic thunderstorms. Get inside, clear up, you can go outside. So that's beach weather for you. All right, that's your forecast here for this Sunday evening. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening and start to the week. See you next time.